Hawaii's freshman senators and representative landed some choice committee appointments thanks to some major backroom power brokering. And late Senator Danny Noy still has money left in his campaign fund. So where would it go? Those stories are things that our media partners at Civil Beat are uncovering. And joining us live over Skype is assistant editor Sarah Lynn. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Mahia.
So Hawaii's freshmen in Congress got some pretty choice assignments. Who can they thank for all of this?
Well, it's very interesting there. I mean, I think what you're seeing is the long shadows of Dana Noy and Dana Kaka. They're combined, 70 years in the Senate taking hold there. They got very, like you said, very plum assignments for freshmen. It's not common for freshmen to get their first choice of committee assignments. But what really happened here with the staffs of Inouye and Akaka were working behind the scenes. And a good example of the horse trading that went on is between, for example, Alaska Senator Mark Begich and the Hawaii delegation. Mark Begich took Inouye's seat on appropriations and gave up his seat on armed services. We know that Mazie Hirono slipped into armed services and gave up her seat on energy, and slipping into the energy seat was Brian Schatz, our other new senator.
Well, it looks like Hawaii and Alaska is continuing its relationship. Obviously, late Senator Danny Noy still has money left in his campaign. How much exactly is there, and what will happen to that money?
Well, he was talking very much about running in 2016. He had no plans to retire when he died unexpectedly, and he has over $250,000 left. I think it's about $286,000. And we sniffed around that and asked around, and very interestingly, campaign committees are set up a lot like nonprofits. So even when the figurehead is gone, the officers of the nonprofit are responsible for what happens to the money. So there are very specific rules about what can happen with it. It can be used to pack up the office. It can be used to be given to other candidates, for example, or even given to charities. And we spoke with the treasurer of the group, a guy with a neat name, Calvert Chip Chase III, and he said that it'll probably be a combination of all those three, but it is a little bit early to tell.
It's very interesting to see how his influence is continuing even after death.
For sure.
Sarah, Governor Abercrombie is clashing with one of his appointees, and it's signs of a growing rift between him and the environmental community. What's up with this story?
Well, in this case, we honed in on Gary Hoosier. He's a name that folks probably remember. He ran for lieutenant governor. He was a former state legislator, and now he's a county councilor on the island of Kauai. In his case, after he did not make lieutenant governor, he was appointed to the Office of Environmental and Quality Control. And as an appointee of the governor, usually you kind of toe the line. But in his case, he spoke his mind, and he didn't agree with Abercrombie on his stances on environment, and it is reflective of this larger rift. Now, for the Abercrombie administration's part, they say that it's not really fair. They say that actually Abercrombie has done a lot for different conservation areas and worked a lot with other organizations to try to do things for watersheds and others. But it is interesting to see the environmental groups not agreeing with Abercrombie on development and on LNG, for example.
It sure is. And I know that Civil Beat will be following this issue, and there's also a story on natural gas that Civil Beat will have the latest on. We can look at those stories on civilbeat.com. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us on this Monday morning.
Great to be here. Talk to you soon, Maya. Take care.
And you can see those stories on civilbeat.com. It is 6:41. We'll be right back.